Welcome to my second book of the wrestler for Naomi the Dark Knight. You've already heard the first book in the wrestler. If you've seen it, Naomi Knight comes back, Naomi the Dark Knight, in a completely way darker look than Paige. Total goth, coming with a baseball bat, go in the ring, no nonsense, no playing to the crowd, nothing. She completely destroys her opponent. She does a rear view on someone, and then she falls to the mat, crawls on top of them, and lays her breast on the woman's face. This is totally different than what Naomi is like. And I wanted her to have this persona. Now I'm going to expand on that with her first true feud. Now after this happens, this is about a 2-month period where she does the same thing. She goes to the ring, she doesn't really speak much. She simply says, I am the Dark Knight, and I am going to defeat everyone I meet. You will know the darkness of me. This is what basically Naomi would say. Even her husband, Jimmy Uso, would be coming up to her and say, girl, what are you doing? What is going on with you? You never acted like this before when you were out. Honey, what's going on? And she literally grabs the bat that I'll set up the scene simply. She's in the back waiting for her own match. Jimmy comes to her. He speaks to her just like I said. Her bat is hanging to the side. She grabs the bat, looks at him, hammers one of the containers that they use to store the equipment, and it gets stuck in it. And she said, you see that? That's the heads of the people that I would crack with this. She pulls it out and she shows it to him. You should know better than anybody how a true Samoan supposed to act. I'm your wife. And as your dad was crazy, and you Uso crazy, I'm crazy dark, baby. And she literally grabs his shirt, pulls him down, kisses him, and then shoves him back and walks away. And he looks at her like, the look like, should I get turned on by this or terrified? And as he has that look, his own brother Jay, because we're dealing with Jimmy, Jay touches him on the shoulder. He jumps because he couldn't believe his wife acting like that. He has no clue how to feel. And her first match after about 2 months will have to be Tamina. It must be Tamina. For the simple reason that I said in the first video that Tamina left Naomi because she couldn't stand her whining, because she kept losing, because she's been booked so badly. It's obvious, we're going to say that. So Tamina, looking at her, says, what have you been doing, girl? And she looks at her and she says, run. Kind of like what Bray Wyatt would say. And she says, what? She takes the bat and hits one of the walls that was set up for interviews and said, run before I hurt you. And she stood right up to her. Tamina says, I ain't going nowhere. What the hell you think you are? And then she does something that no one has ever seen for a diva or a woman's wrestler in either a long time or ever on WWE. She takes that barbed wire bat, she turns to the end, hits her with it, and then whacks her in the back with it, with the barbed wire. And she hits the ground, getting barbed in her back. And she said, I warned you. You have been warned by the Dark Knight. And she walks away. No one would ever expect any female diva or woman's wrestler to be using a barbed wire bat to actually hit another diva or woman's wrestler and get barbed wires in her back. And after that happened, later in that night, I would make sure that Tamina would be on a Raw. She would have her shirt up, covering the boobs. I mean, you would see the barbed wires in the back. You would see that she had really got hurt. I want to emphasize that Naomi has totally changed in the way she ever was before. That she's never been that way, that no one's ever seen a woman act like that before. And then after about a week, Tamina would come after her and attack her, but wouldn't be able to beat her because a part of her just doesn't want to hurt Naomi because that's her cousin's wife. She loves her in real life. So this would give a hesitation where Naomi would take advantage and beat the living hell out of her and do the very move that I just said. She throws her into the ring ropes, do a rear view, crawls on her and plops her boobs on her face. Grabs her head after that and says, "You are now my enemy." Bang! Drops her head right back onto the mat and she walks away. About a week later, which would be a pay-per-view, which I would make it SummerSlam. SummerSlam is when they would have the match, Tamina versus Naomi. And Tamina wouldn't stand a chance against Naomi because Naomi has become so focused, so cold and calculating, using a high-flying and a grappling technique with very cold, calculating attitude. She beats her. And then she moves on to what she wants, which is a Divas title. Now you'll find out who I pick for the Divas champion at the time in the next video, which will be the last one. I hope you like this Booking the Wrestler. Please give me a comment below. Have a good day and have a good night. Peace.